Eruption Typhlosion? That is so yesterday. You know what we're going to do here today? We're going to be using a substituting focus punching Typhlosion. That's right guys, we are going to get into another BDSPWifi battle, and today's battle is going to feature none other than the fire Pokemon himself, Typhlosion. Let's get into it. And here we go guys, a BDSP battle finally. Our opponent Ryan is going to lead off here with a Donphan, and of course we're going to go in with our awesome Steelix. Now of course I really enjoy Steelix ever since we changed that animation, definitely looks so much cooler. So there's a couple of options here. We can go in with our Steelix here, we can either go in for the setup or we can go in for the direct attack. The Donphan of course is going to go in for the knockoff here. He's going to knock off our Custap Berry, which is actually a very important item for us. However, we get an Earthquake off here onto the Donphan, and of course, as you can see, not very effective. So really at this point, there's only a few options here for us. I'm basically going to decide to call back Steelix because there's really not a whole lot that we can do to that Donphan. I'm going to go into Dragonite because I know what's going to happen. He's going to go for that Earthquake here. And with the flying type, it's not really going to do anything. Basically, it's just going to avoid that damage. Donphan, of course, picking up the lefties, boosting its health back up to par. And of course, we've got a couple of different moves here we can go for. I decided to lock in with Outrage. And the reason I decided to go for the Outrage is because that is a stab attack. It's going to do the most damage. The Donphan actually goes for the knockoff here and knocks off our Choice Band. Thank you, Donphan, because quite frankly, right now, I am no longer locked in to using Outrage once we get through the 3 turns. Donphan, of course, takes the attack, barely holding on, and then pulls off a Stealth Rock. So right now, if I were to swap out Dragonite and bring it back in later, the entry hazards would be there, of course. We're going in for our 3rd round of Outrage, and we are going to pick up the KO onto that Donphan. Luckily, we get him knocked out. There's no Ice Shards. Thank you for no Ice Shards. He's going to bring in his Fuckle Shuckle. I always say Fuckle Shuckle because it's kind of funny. You don't mess with Shuckle. We're going to call back our Dragonite. We're going to go in with our Steelix. Now, I went with Steelix here because it's a bulky Pokemon. I didn't really think that the Shuckle was really going to be able to do anything here. And as you can see, it was trying to set up a Toxic onto my Dragonite. I'm going to go in for the Heavy Slam here. It's super effective, of course. And the Shuckle is going to set up the Sticky Web. Now the Sticky Web setup, any Pokemon that comes in is going to have the speed stat dropped, and of course he's got the lefties onto his Shuckle. Now I could of course go in for the Explosion here, however he's going to withdraw the Shuckle, knowing that he can't really do anything to me. I go in for, I believe it was the Heavy Slam, and of course Heavy Slam is going to be able to do some damage off onto the Ninetales. Not a lot of damage, mind you, but enough that I'm comfortable with calling back Steelix. Don't really want to get hit by any kind of a flamethrower under that sun, so we're going to go in with our Typhlosion here, and of course Typhlosion has the Flash Fire ability. Of course we get hit by the Sticky Web, and that is going to drop our speed stat. The Ninetales, of course, goes for the Fire Blast, which is very common with the Ninetales, especially if it's up against the Steelix. He's going to withdraw the Ninetales, goes into the Shuckle. Now with Shuckle onto the field, of course, it manages to take the Earthquake like a pro, and of course we get a little bit of damage with our Typhlosion because of the Orb. Lefty's coming into play there with the Shuckle, of course, gaining back some of the hit points that it lost. And at this time I'm thinking to myself, you know what? This is a rental team. I'm going to go for that substitute because I want to see what Focus Punch can do. Haven't really used Focus Punch. If you guys haven't seen, this Typhlosion is a physical attacking Typhlosion, which is definitely a change from your usual Eruption Choice Scarfing Typhlosions. So he's going to withdraw the Shuckle. I've locked into Focus Punch. He goes back into Ninetales, probably predicting that I'm going to go for a Fire type attack. Of course, that's not the case. We are going to go for the Focus Punch, and that is just going to knock out the Ninetales. Just completely obliterate it. Ninetales had like no chance there with that Focus Punch. So we lose a little bit of health there because of the Life Orb, and in comes Venusaur to try to attack onto the Typhlosion. We've got Flare Blitz. So, of course, we're going to obviously go for Flare Blitz here. He gets a crit with that Sludge Bomb, of course, taking away our sub, but that's okay, because quite frankly, we're going to get a really epic Flare Blitz off here, especially under the sun. That's going to knock out the Venusaur here because it's super effective, and down goes the Soar. I bet he's sore. Typhlosion, of course, insane recoil damage. Just going to knock himself out here. That's okay. We're going to go into Hitmonchan. Now, with Hitmonchan onto the field, I'm met with a Typhlosion of our opponent's side. And I'm going to be honest with you, I kind of know that it's going to do Eruption. I don't see any other Typhlosions going for anything. So we're just going to go for the Mach Punch. We want to get any kind of damage off that we can onto this thing. In comes the Eruption, very usual for a Typhlosion. And it's just going to one-hit knock out our Hitmonchan. So with Hitmonchan down, we're going to come in with our Milotic here. And of course, Milotic does have a type advantage because it's a water type Pokemon. Of course, we get the Sticky Web issue where our speed stat's going to drop, but that's okay because we have Competitive. Competitive is going to raise our special attack extremely sharp. And of course, we are going to go in for that Scald because why not? Why would you go for anything else at this point? He's going to withdraw the Typhlosion, of course, fearing the Scald. And of course, Shuckle is going to get hit by that move. Super effective, and we managed to get the burn. Shuckle is now going to be on the field in the path of Milotic. Of course, now the sun has gone. It is gone, disappeared. Maybe some clouds, I don't know. But anyways, the leftovers on the Shuckle are going to come into the play, and of course the burn is going to take that away. So we're going to go in for another Scald here. Scald is going to hit the Shuckle, and that's it for Shuckle this game. So down it goes. We are now down to 2 Pokemon remaining on our opponent's side. We've got 2 Pokemon on our side that is out, and it is looking fairly decent for us. So back in comes the Typhlosion, of course, and it is likely still a Choice Scarfing Eruption. However, he decides to go for the Focus Blast here, thinking that he might be able to get more damage with the Focus Blast. We go for that Scald, and of course, with our special attack stat boosted, we get a critical hit as well, knocking out that Typhlosion. So that takes him down into his last Pokemon. We are going to get some leftovers there with our Milotic, gaining back a little bit of our health. And this is the last Pokemon that our opponent has. It is Weavile. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I have had some serious drama with Weavile. I'm a little bit scared of it because of the whole close combat scenario from before, but that is not the case in this match. So a little bit of trauma can just disappear, okay? The Milotic, of course, handled itself like a champ. In comes the Throat Chop. Unfortunately, Milotic cannot survive that. Can you imagine getting chopped in the throat by a Weavile? That's just not good. So I'm going to bring in the Steelix here now. Of course, Steelix is going to get wrapped up in the Sticky Web, dropping its speed stat. However, there's really not a whole lot that this Weavile can do unless it's got like an extreme fighting type move. Of course, Throat Chop does a serious amount of damage, but it is not enough to pick up the KO. So there goes the Weavile, and that is going to be game. So good game, Ryan. Thank you very much for that match. There you go, guys. A physical attacking Typhlosion. Now, wasn't that a breath of fresh air? Now, if you guys enjoyed the battle there today, be sure to post your comments in the comment section below. How else would you guys like to see Typhlosion used? Be sure to check out one of the many battles listed above, and as well that's on the channel. Hope you guys had a fantastic day there today, and I hope you all take care.